Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about using Google Forms for creating multiple choice quizzes that can be given via online. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is open our web browser. So I'm going to open Google Chrome. And then I'm going to go to gmail.com. A lot of people are familiar with Gmail. So that's how we'll log into Google Forms. So it automatically is logging me in now. And then you can go to the upper right side, click on these tiles here. And we want to click on Google Drive. Google Drive is kind of an online hard drive that Google offers for people who use Google Docs. Google Docs has different versions of documents, such as documents which is the Google equivalent of Microsoft Word, a presentation, which is the Google equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint, a spreadsheet, which is the Google equivalent of Microsoft Excel. But what we're going to be looking at today is Google Form, which is right here. Now, Google Form will allow us to create a quiz that the students will be able to take. So let's click on Form here. Okay, and you see a dialog box pops up, and it gives us the option of naming the form. So let's name this form Quiz Number 1. Quiz Number 1. And I'm going to choose the default theme here and click OK. So once we've chosen the default theme, we'll be able to start making our quiz. For example, we can give the form a description. In the form description box here, we can say, please answer all the questions. Good luck. Okay. Now the first question that we're going to want them to answer is what their name is, because if they don't answer their name, you're not going to know who's taking the test or the quiz. So right here where it says question type, we're going to change it from multiple choice to text. Okay, and we can say, what is your name? All right, what is your name? And for the help text, for example, if you want them to put their last name first, last name, first name, that gives them a hint on how to write their name. And make sure you click down here on required question. Okay, required question, check that box, because if you don't check that box, they can submit this without filling in their name, and then we'll just click done. And that adds the first entry that the students have to fill out. What is your name? All right. And usually, since I teach different classes, for example, if I'm teaching grade 3, I'll have 3A, 3B, and 3C. And I'll have all grade 3 classes take the same quiz. And if you want to distinguish between each of the classes, I like to add a multiple choice question. For example, which class are you in? Okay. And then down here, we can type 3A, and then you click again, and you can add another one, 3B. See, it says click to add option, and then you can type 3C. Make this a required question as well, and then click done. All right, so then when the students fill this quiz out, they have to pick one of these options. And then we can start filling out the multiple choice quiz. So we click the drop down arrow next to add item, and we can choose multiple choice. So click on that. And we can type in a question, okay? For example, what is the name of the school? All right. And we can give them different options. For example, Al-Jabbar Islamic School. And then we can click and add another. For example, I don't know, what's another name of a school? University Pelita Harapan or something. and something else. Monas. I don't know. All right. And so you can do as many options as you want for answers. You can make this a required question, and then click done. All right. And so you can keep adding multiple choice questions to this, and until you get the length of a quiz that you want. Now, if we want to make this quiz into more than one page, because let's say if you're having them take 50 multiple choice questions, it's going to be a really long form. And so you might want to split it into different pages. And so when we can go down here and say add item, click the drop down arrow, and instead of adding multiple choice, we can go over to layout and we can hit page break. So if you click on page break, right, it's going to put it's going to be like a new page, and we can give this page a title, quiz number 1 part 2, for example. Okay, and then we want to drag this wherever the page break is. Let's say if we want what is the name of the school on a different page than which class are you in, we can just drag it to go in between those questions. Okay, so this is a very small quiz that we have here, but we just have the basics. We have the title of the quiz, the description of it. We have the students entering their name and the class that they're in. And then we have a page break. Let's say if this was a very long quiz, they could you can put in a page break. And then we have one question here. Well, let's delete this one here. All right, so you see page 2 of 2. So this question is on a different page. The next, once you're done writing all your quiz questions, the next thing you're going to want to do is choose a response destination where you want the answers to go. And so up here you can click on choose response destination and click on that. And I like to make my responses go into a spreadsheet because later I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the spreadsheet. All right, so then just hit create. And it's set up a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet automatically is set up inside your Google Drive. And so whenever someone answers the questions to this quiz, they're going to be able to all the other questions, all their answers will go onto that spreadsheet. I'll give you an example. So right now this quiz is accepting responses. You see this up here? It says accepting responses. That means people can take the quiz. If you click on this, it will say not accepting responses. Okay, and you go all the way up. The form quiz 1 is no longer accepting responses. So you can turn it off and then turn it back on. So that's something I sometimes use on my website. If we want to see the quiz itself, we can hit View Live Form, okay? And that gives you a dedicated URL, so you can send the link to the form to someone via email, and then they can click on it and take this quiz. So let's take this quiz real fast. What is your name? Let's say my name is last name Student. First name, Joe. My name is Joe Student. Let's say I'm in 3B. And remember when we put that page break in, so we've now made this quiz into 2 pages. So when we hit continue, it's going to go on to page 2. All right, and here's the question that we had on page 2. What is the name of the school? Al-Jabar Islamic School, UPH, or Monas? Well, we'll click Al-Jabar Islamic School. And then we're going to hit submit. All right. And then once we see this response, quiz 1, your response has been recorded. That means that that response has been sent to the spreadsheet that was made earlier. That's where the responses will go. Now let's see, for example, let's click view live form again, and we can go to the quiz again. You can take it as many times as you want. The student's name is going to be Harry, for example. Now let's say we didn't answer which class are we in, and we want to hit continue. If you hit that, it'll say this is a required question. It will not let you continue or submit the quiz if you've made it a required question. So let's say I'm in 3B, I'll continue. But this one, let's choose it wrong. Let's say that Monas. We think the school's name is Monas. All right, and then submit. And your response has been recorded. Okay, so now we can go back to our Google Drive, right? And you see quiz number 1, the form is here. And then the spreadsheet for quiz number 1 is right here. It's called quiz number 1 responses. And so if we click on quiz number 1 responses, just give it a moment, and it's actually going to show the time of when the quiz was taken, and then the entries they had to answer. For example, what is their name, which class are they in, and what is the name of the school. So this is very useful. You can do as many questions as you want. I mean, it'll just continue to go over horizontally on this spreadsheet. I'm actually going to open a different spreadsheet now, because I want to show you how we can organize this spreadsheet to give us some answers to self-grade this quiz here. Okay, so now I have another spreadsheet open, and these are the results from an actual quiz that I gave in one of my classes. And so I'm going to show you how we can grade this quiz here. So the first thing that we're actually going to have to do is we're going to have to take the quiz ourselves, but make sure that we get all the answers correct. And the reason that we're going to do this is because it will give us an answer key from which to base the grade off of. Now, luckily, I've already done an answer key on this quiz. All right, and this has all of the correct answers from the multiple choice quiz. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a script into this spreadsheet that will allow us to correct the quiz. So we're going to click on Tools, and then we're going to click on Script Gallery. And that's going to open a lot of different things that we might have available inside this spreadsheet program. As a script. So in the script we're looking for, it's called Flubaroo. It's called Flubaroo. And that's going to allow us to grade this quiz much easier. So we just click search. All right. And Flubaroo is going to pop up. It says Flubaroo is a free, easy tool to use that allows teachers to quickly grade and analyze assignments. Wonderful. So click install. And it says it's installing. All right, and you need to give it authorization to run inside your spreadsheet. So click continue. A dialog comes up and says, oh, it would like to do all of these things. Yes, we would like for it to do that so it can do its job. Okay, and that's it. It seems that we've given it. And you'll see Flubaroo here has now popped up next to help. So we can click Flubaroo and then click grade assignment. Okay, the dialog box is popping up here. Flubaroo grading step 1. And so what we can do here, let's see, grading option. The question, what is your first and last name? This help identifies the student. So we don't want to give the question any points. You can give the question either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 points. But it identifies the student, so we want to make sure that is there. I gave each of the questions on this test 1 point, and there were a total of 10 questions. And also, which class are you in? That identifies the student as well. So these two identify the students, and all of the other questions, I gave them 1 point if they get it correct, and 0 points if they get it wrong. So hit continue. And the next step that pops up, this is asking for which submission is the answer key. Which submission has all of the correct answers? And so since that was done last, it should be all the way at the bottom. And so we can click the little circle next to it. That's choosing the answer key. And then we will click continue. And now Flubaroo is grading the assignment. So we'll give it a moment to do that. And now it says that Flubaroo has completed the grading. So we can click View Grades. And it's going to show us a spreadsheet right here. On the top left corner, it's going to say, okay, the possible points on the test was a 10. That's the most amount of points. The average points was 8.3, so that's about 83%. There were 62 people who took the quiz, and there was one question that a lot of people scored low on. All right, and then so down below that you can see the submission time, the name of the student, which class they were in, the total points that they got on it, and then the percent score. How many times did they submit the quiz? And then also these ones and zeros below the questions. The 1 means they got it correct, the 0 means they got it wrong. If there is a low scoring question, it will be highlighted in orange, like how did Patrick feel on the whatever. And if we go all the way down, it will give us the score of the low scoring question. So this question, the average score for the entire class was just below 60%. So for some reason the class didn't do too well on that question, but otherwise they did pretty good on the other questions. Okay, and so you can actually email this spreadsheet to some people. Let's first download it as a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So if we click on File on the upper left-hand corner, we can go down to Download As, and we can download it as Microsoft Excel. Okay, so it's just downloaded this, and if I click on it, it will open. Okay, and now this downloads the student submissions as well as the grades. So down here we have 2 tabs, student submissions and grades. If we click on grades, this is going to look exactly like it does inside Google Forms. And you can actually attach this to an email and email it to anybody else if they want to see the grades of the students, or you can save it on the local server if you want to have a soft copy of it locally. Now, after looking at Google Forms, there are some positives and negatives to using this. So I've listed a couple of them here. Well, first off, some of the positives is it's free. Some of the online survey or quiz app software you must pay for. And you can also do unlimited quizzes and organize it yourself within your Google Drive and in Google Docs. It's also quite versatile because you can download it in a number of formats. For example, when I showed we could download that Google Spreadsheet as a Microsoft spreadsheet. And here's an example of a very popular quiz software that's available online. And this shows that there is a pricing for it. So if we wanted something similar to what we have right now, unlimited questions and unlimited responses, we would have to pay some money. But the free version of it only allows 10 questions per survey and 100 responses per survey. and it limits it per month as well. And so that's something that we wouldn't want if you have a lot of students. Some negatives. Well, if you really want to grade the students based on some of these quizzes, as far as comprehension is concerned, it would be easy for students to put another student's name. We can get around this by giving a student an individualized number before each quiz, and therefore they wouldn't know what each other numbers were, and then you'd be able to post the results publicly as long as the student still remembers their number. Another factor is it takes a little bit of time to learn how to use Google Forms. You have to play around with it a little bit. There's a lot of things that I didn't show you today that you're actually able to do with the Google Forms, such as taking surveys and doing all sorts of other things. And then there are limited question types as well. There's not 5. There's a few more than 5, but still it's not quite a user-friendly layout. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions regarding using Google Forms as a multiple choice quiz application, you can email me at jaredcalwitt@gmail.com.